I gave the topic, honestly, I was not aware of the theme, energy sustainability. And I was saying to Tobe just a few days ago, how fitting this topic that I gave to UKZN is, as if I knew actually. Okay, you would have seen it, obviously, that it's on green initiatives and skills in the water sector. But I must highlight and declare that it's more focusing on uMngeni-uThukela water as much as it is going to be covering the water sector in general. So it's actually our own perspective. Just giving some outline to it, that will just give some background, obviously, of uMngeni-uThukela water up to the green skills that the theme is mainly all about. And just some background to uMngeni-uThukela water. It's an SOE that's obviously governed by the Water Services Act and owned by the Department of Water and Sanitation. So whatever that we subscribe to is endorsed and regulated by the Department of Water and Sanitation. I will highlight later as to why I have to be even getting into such nitty-gritties. And we supply water and sanitation services to the municipalities. I'll expand a bit on that because, when we are having water cuts, it's always associated with uMngeni-uThukela water, but I'll actually provide some context into it. And we actually service at the present moment 7 water services authorities, that is the municipalities. The intention of the merger, Prof. Ross, of uMngeni water and Mhlathuze water to form this uMngeni-uThukela water was to cover the entire KZN. And the municipalities that you are seeing in blue there are the ones that we have our footprint in. There's one that's uMngeni-uThukela that's in green. We do have like certain steps into the uMngeni-uThukela district municipality, but we're not covering the entire district as it stands right now. But just to give some background as to where does uMngeni-uThukela water fit into this whole water value chain. We abstract water from the rivers and the dams, treat it in our waterworks, then sell it to the municipalities. I'm getting to that point where you're having all these water cards, they actually get associated with uMngeni-uThukela water. It's mainly for the municipalities that we sell the water to. And as regulated by the Department of Water and Sanitation, whatever water that we are abstracting from the rivers and the dams for treatment in the waterworks is based on the license conditions. I'm highlighting this because you would have heard of curtailments in eThekwini municipality, Sunduzi, and Mgungundlovu. We have like this very big system that we abstract water from inland down to eThekwini, that's over abstracting right now. So the department, as the regulator, has been on our case that, look, you are violating the regulations of the license. You cannot go on in this manner. So we had to go to the municipalities that were supplying that. We have to abide to the limited volumes that we are regulated to be abstracting from the rivers. And this system. And obviously we sell this water to the municipalities, and it has to be at the desired SANS 241 standard. We have accredited labs with this measure now at the head office in Pietermaritzburg, as well as at the Richards Bay office, that actually test this water to ensure that it does meet these required standards. You would have seen in the Blue Drop results that indeed we are compliant, and what we pride ourselves in is that you can actually drink our water directly from the tap as uMngeni-uThukela water. Obviously, the municipalities then distribute it to the households and industries, and this then generates the waste that gets treated into the wastewater works. We don't own the wastewater works. We are operating the wastewater works on behalf of the municipalities. You would have heard of issues with the beaches being contaminated in eThekwini municipality, and uMngeni-uThukela Water signed a contract as from November last year to operate about 10 of those wastewater works so that they can be driven to the desired standards as regulated by the license conditions. And then the water cycle, takes place, and this water, once it gets treated, then it gets discharged back into the rivers and the coasts. And as you can tell from this whole operation, how energy intensive it can be, and that creeps in the portion of my topic. And as a result, the biggest cost drivers of uMngeni-uThukela Water and the entire water sector are energy and the chemicals that are used to treat this raw water and wastewater to these desired standards. And obviously, with all this energy issues, there are certain ways of generating this energy, and this is where the green skills actually come in. And actually, globally, the water sector is responsible for, it may appear minute, 2% of the global energy usage, with a total of about 10% of greenhouse gas emissions. And within South Africa, 17% of this energy is actually from the municipalities as well as the water boards as well. And with the energy initiatives, obviously, the greenhouse gas emissions, as I indicated, and the graph that you're seeing, well, this pie chart that you're seeing there is showing the carbon dioxide emissions by countries, with the biggest one being China. In fact, the biggest five: China, India, Japan, Russia, and so forth. South Africa may appear to be only 1%. But obviously, with these emissions that you are seeing here, it could not just continue as normal, because with all these greenhouse gas emissions, global warming, which then depletes the atmosphere and the whole environment. And you would perhaps be clear of the popular 2015 Paris Agreement, where several countries got together and they were like, there's no way that we can continue as it is right now. We've got to do something to cap climate change. And obviously, South Africa could not be left behind in all that. And as this was declared in 2015 as per the Paris Agreement, we're in 2024 now. And with the declarations that were made, obviously we had to find ways of tracking progress as to where we are. And the indications as of last year, 2023, are showing that instead of actually achieving the declines that we are hoping to be as of 2030 and going to net zero in 2050, we are actually anticipating an increase of 9% in 2030 rather than the decline. Therefore, it cannot just be business as usual. We've got to do something about it if we were to achieve the net zero by 2045 and to reduce global warming to 1.5%. And where are we actually losing it? Is it that whatever we had declared and committed to be doing is not going according to plan, obviously, but definitely as the water sector, we are contributing to this in many, many forms. Number one, as I indicated, that our operational activities are very energy intensive. We use diesel vehicles to go out there, fetch samples from the waterworks and the wastewater works. We are contributing as well to these global emissions. And with South Africa coming on board, declaring that we want to be part of the solution through the National Development Plan. And with uMngeni-uThukela water governed by government through the Department of Water and Sanitation, where do we actually fit in this whole process? What can we actually be doing as the national government declared that by 2030, remember that there was that declaration of realizing some decreases, but then the current predictions are showing that actually we will be getting an increase by 9%, even though even our own government had declared that we want to be part of the solution, but still we are seeing that rise in greenhouse gas emissions. And this is the commitment that was made by our own government through the National Development Plan, that we want to be an environmentally sustainable community, a climate change resilient economy, low carbon economy, and we want to be moving a buzzword now. Even the president was talking about it in the past few weeks, the just transition that we need to be moving into. But the gist of it is, as we are sitting in this room as the innovators, what role can we play to ensure that we don't deplete our planet any further? We are relying on you to come up with those innovative technologies, innovative initiatives. So find it in your heart and ask yourself that what is it that can be done by you as an individual to cap this situation. As I said, that with uMngeni-uThukela water being governed by the Department of Water and Sanitation, and with all these declarations and commitments by the national government, what role can we play to actually contribute to this decline in the greenhouse gas emissions? So as far back as 2020, we felt that we cannot just sit in limbo and not do anything. Then an environmental sustainability policy was developed. An environmental sustainability strategy was developed. And obviously you can have all these talks and all these fancy documents, but rather than just being documents, how do you then realize the actual implementation thereof? And we had to implement implementation plans to ensure that these strategies, these fancy strategies, are not just strategies like by word, but they are rather implemented and aligned to that, because the biggest component of it is mainly energy. We needed to develop some strategies on how we are managing our energy initiatives in a way. And these are the indicators that when we developed that environmental sustainability plan, that we were like, okay, first and foremost, we need to be focusing on energy and emissions reduction. And as you can see that all these indicators have aligned sustainability goals. Out of those 17 sustainability goals, you will notice that all these initiatives will have like the goals that actually directly talk to each. Getting into details of what we are implementing and what we are actually planning to implement as far as each of these indicators is concerned. Within the energy and emissions reduction indicator, we have a strategy to be reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by at least 10% in 2030. We are only 6 years away, but I can promise that at least strides have been made, and we will be getting some reductions. We are monitoring this very closely, and we have plans to be installing solar panels. We don't have electric vehicles as yet. We are looking into procuring electric vehicles. Already initiatives are underway. In fact, before the end of this financial year, we would be having solar panels installed at some of our admin offices. We are in the process of procuring at least an electric vehicle that will be piloting right now. We are having initiatives at one of our wastewater works to produce energy through our methane in one of the wastewater works in Davao, and also from one of our wastewater works, we are intending, we actually have even gone past the stage of, we are at the design stage right now towards the implementation of hydropower. So we do have plans in place. Others may be a bit advanced, and this obviously aims towards the achievement of a portion of those reductions by 2030. And you would be aware of this very buzz one, green hydrogen. And as the water sector, we could not just sit back and not do anything about it. So we're looking into how we can actually get into that bandwagon and be part of this green hydrogen initiative. And the next one that we're looking at is the biodiversity and reduction of ecosystem stress. I'm spending a lot of time around energy because it is actually the gist of this aligned to sustainability. And you will see that I'm talking like environmental sustainability, energy management in line with the theme as it is. The second one is biodiversity and reducing ecosystem stress, where we are actually looking at conserving our biodiversity by all means. Where we've got soil erosion in our area of operation, we looking at restoration. We have a very big project that we are undertaking at Lower Mkomazi, where the soil is heavily eroded there. So there are initiatives that we are putting in place that are actually restoring the conservation in there. Wetlands, most of our wetlands are very degraded, so we're looking at restoring them as well. And there's another serious issue that we are experiencing with water hyacinth, alien invasives in generally, but mainly water hyacinth at Inanda Dam. that's even affecting revenue generation by one of our subsidiaries, uMsintse. So we're looking at eradication of these alien invasives as well. And reduction of waste and consumption. I've got the specialists in this room actually who are working on all these initiatives. Under waste reduction, we're looking at reducing the amount of waste that goes to the landfill by 5%. SPOO, we are making strides in that area already in terms of like recycling and so forth and so forth. Then we have another indicator on reduction of water stress, and I have indicated that we are over abstracting in one of our systems due to the demand by the municipalities that we are servicing, and with all that strict warning from the department, we are actually curtailing supply to the municipalities and eventually to the households right now. But as we are taking over these wastewater works for the municipalities, we want to ensure that they operate to the desired legislated requirements. Underwater quality and quantity. You would be aware of a blue drop and green drop for wastewater, and blue drop for wastewater. Blue for waste and green, blue for potable for drinking, and green drop for wastewater. And we want to ensure that wherever we are touching our hands, we leave perfection in there. Hence, you can safely drink the water that's coming from the tap as tested by our accredited laboratories. We pride ourselves in there as well. Climate change. We developed a climate change policy that's looking at climate adaptation and mitigation. And we've got quite a number of initiatives that are looking at flood forecasting and quite a number of initiatives in there. And also on environmental governance, where we have to be reporting even to the investors as to how we are actually funding in terms of our environmental initiatives. Then green building. I must highlight that one of the regulations that's coming from the Department of Mineral Resources is that all public buildings do need to have an energy efficiency or management or performance certificate. And obviously, it's one of those initiatives. It's going to get to a point where is it going to be fully implemented to be before the end of this year, actually, that all the public buildings need to be compliant, and as a public entity we need to ensure that we have our ducks in the row towards that compliance. And this is one of the skills that we are generating in-house to ensure that we can get to that level. Transition to circular economy. We have quite a number of initiatives in place. Right now, the most popular one, which is currently happening at Davao, where we are using sludge to irrigate through the Duzi TAF initiative, one of our NGOs, to irrigate the grasslands with that sludge. And there's another initiative that we're also looking into, where we want to be taking this water hyacinth that's becoming a nuisance for our water resources, the dams, and getting some beneficial use out of. As we undertake all these initiatives, we need to be reporting them to certain regulators, the one major one being the United Global Compact, where we need to be reporting progress in our environmental initiatives as to how far we are doing. And this comes with a lot of benefits, obviously. In fact, when we started this environmental sustainability journey, we didn't really realize the impact that it would have, such that every financial year, our finance department would come to us and want us to report on the progress, on the initiatives that we are reporting as part of these 10 indicators that I've highlighted in here. And we're getting an investor benefit. You would be aware that with the planet, and most companies want to be going like ESG now, there are certain benefits that come with. Obviously, the major one is that it offers us a competitive edge when it comes to loans, interest, and so forth. By virtue of us implementing all these initiatives, we then get that competitive advantage. And obviously, with everything that we're doing, being like customer-centric, more quality-driven in the products that we are providing, it actually builds that customer loyalty. You would be aware that uMngeni-uThukela water is a very big brand. It's also attributed to all these initiatives that we are implementing in here. And obviously, by being energy intentional about being energy efficient, it's going to give us that financial performance benefit in a way. And all this obviously has to be done by certain skills that are more aligned to these green initiatives that we are so hoping to achieve. And what I'm trying to show in here is to sort of like pose a challenge to the university as well. With all this, the breeds of students that you are getting, are they actually trying to move towards these green skills that are required by industry, not just the water sector, the entire industry? What is it that we can do as UKZN to ensure that the breed that we are producing is actually responding to the needs of the industry? And what I'm trying to highlight in here is the skills that we are confident to have developed in-house to address these challenges that I've highlighted in here. The ones that we are still sort of like developing, and the ones that we are like, okay, we know that we need these skills. We're not there yet, but we need to find some ways of getting to that level that we can be like, we are really satisfied, content that we are there. And looking at these skills, water is our specialty, of course. So we've got confidence in water conservation specialists. We've got confidence in biodiversity conservation specialists, environmental specialists, environmental policy advocates, ecological restoration specialists, waste management specialists, climate change adaptation scientists, climate modeling specialists. That's where our strength is right now in terms of the green skills that we are having. Where we are developing, others could be sort of like towards the level that we're like, okay, we can be confident, but others are like at very infancy stages. And those are more on green building specialists and architects. We have quite a number of initiatives that we are implementing. In fact, Utebe, our environmental scientist, is one of the certified green building specialists. There are only 2 in the organization right now. We need to be expanding, hence we deem it as more of like a developing green skill. How can we tap into a bigger complement of the organization to get to develop these skills? Green process designers, we do have 1 or 2 right now. But looking at the design engineers within the organization, how can we have just 1 or 2 if we really want to be addressing these issues? So it's one of the areas that we really want to be so intentional in developing. Green digital technology specialists, we are also at very infancy stages there. Green finance specialists, green water quality testing technicians. I must highlight that as the lab tests this water, and with time, they actually highlighted that we cannot be doing certain things the most conventional ways we knew of. And they made certain strides in terms of like using green technologies, like certain areas where they would ensure that acids are being eliminated in terms of like extraction and so forth. So certain strides have been made there. It could be just like a few. There's so much that we need to be stepping into as well. Green water quality testing technicians. We want to get to a point where we don't send our samplers on site to be fetching this water to be sent to the lab for testing and so forth, but rather deploy more online sensors, remote sensors, and in such a way reducing these these greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon footprint managers. Yes, we could be in a position to be measuring our carbon emissions, but it's just a minimum of our technicians who are actually confident in this field. We want to be expanding in that area as well. Sustainability specialists, of course, we were seeing it as a developing skill, in the sense that maybe the culture of the organization has not necessarily shifted towards sustainability. There could be like that resistance in a way that I'm used to doing like things the conventional way. We need to be expanding our territory towards that acceptance by the whole organization in terms of sustainability specialists. In fact, we've even like reconfigured one of our departments to be like mainly focusing on sustainability aspects, so that this can be like having that oversight role for the whole organization, someone who's going to have that authority to drive these sustainability issues within the organization. Smart network managers, I must declare that just as we were sitting here, there's one student who approached us, and he was actually looking for data on smart meters. And our operations department is responsible for that. And I'm like, do we have smart meters within the organization? And to my embarrassment, of course, I'm declaring it in this platform because we've identified it, that it's one of the areas where we are lacking, that we also need to be expanding on. We need to be developing that in that territory. Circular economy specialists, we don't have as many within the organization. It's just like maybe, well, even less than 5, but we really need to be expanding on this. E-waste management specialists, we may be good on waste management, but not there yet on e-waste management. Where we do know that we need to be having these skills, but we are still like planning to get there. It's the reds that you are saying here on your, wow, you can see where the reds are. Where I'm standing, it's my right. I think it's your left where you are. Okay, I mentioned renewable energy initiatives like cogen, hydropower. We are relying on service providers to implement these initiatives. And obviously, once we've built these cogeneration plants, we need operators that are going to be managing them. We need managers that are going to be overseeing them. We are not even there yet. We do know that we need to get to that point, but obviously, having taken the strides of identifying that we do need these cogen plants, obviously they will come in with the skills that we identify to be in need of as we groom and develop them within the organization. Green data scientists and analysts, they're nowhere in the organization. Is there any of you in this platform who can actually assist towards beefing up the yellows and the reds that we are identifying in here? Energy efficient management specialists. One of the reasons why we had to get to a point where we are developing an energy management strategy and policy, the reality is that we are getting all these bills from Eskom and the municipalities, but in terms of really being confident of what we are paying for in terms of the bills, we are not there yet. So we need someone who's going to apply that level of oversight to ensure that indeed this is exactly what we would have consumed, what we are paying for. We're just paying Eskom, we're just paying the municipalities. So we do need these energy management specialists. We've identified the need for electric vehicles. We don't have the specialists for them, let alone the technicians. The workshops that we have are for the diesel vehicles that we are using at the present moment. We don't have these green vehicle technicians. Green human resource managers, green supply chain management specialists, green building facility managers and maintenance technicians. Yes, we may be having just a few green building specialists, but in terms of once we then have our buildings being energy certified, we're really going to be in a point where we can really be in a position to measure this energy that is supposed to be fitting as per the requirements of green efficiency. Also, greenhouse and hydroponic agriculture. I'm highlighting agriculture here as you would understand that agricultural practices also have an impact in our water resources as well. The land use activities that are being undertaken by the agricultural sector have a significant impact in terms of pollution. We've had, as one of the talks, like looking at metals, nutrients that are polluting our water resources. Hence, we need agriculturalists that are going to be intentional about all these issues as well. All this trying to assist the organization in terms of like meeting all these green initiatives. So what I would like to pose to you is, how are we gearing up as UKZN to be assisting the industries to ensure that we get to the realization of our decline of 45% of those greenhouse gas emissions? Maybe I would like to end it there. And also, as we look at our curricula within science and engineering and other spheres as well, are we addressing the needs of the industry towards the green economy? Thank you.